Welcome, I'm Joshua Silverstein.
And I'm Evelyn Rudy.
And this is Santa Monica On Stage, where we talk about the people and venues that make the city of Santa Monica the cultural destination for the performing arts.
We have two fantastic groups on today's show. Joining us are Tiada Productions and the Morgan Wixon Theater.
Let's get going.
With almost 20 years under their belt, Tiada Productions continues to explore cultures and provocative issues that rarely make it to the stage. Their work really proves that fact can be stranger than fiction. I'm pleased to welcome back Leilani Chan. Sabayidi.
Sabayidi. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah.
20 years Tiada has been in existence. That is really a long time, especially in the theater business. How did it get started? What prompted you?
Well, we wanted to find a place where artists could develop work that wasn't being seen on the stages of Los Angeles or in the industry. Our communities of color really needed a place to explore their issues, but also explore different forms. So we've been doing interdisciplinary work, we've been doing performance art work, a lot of solo work, and a lot of ensemble work, where we can gather stories from underserved communities and find ways to put them on stage and bring more awareness to issues, but also tell stories that haven't been heard in the mainstream.
Why do you think these stories aren't being told so often?
I think that we're in Los Angeles. There's a big industry here, and what happens outside the walls of the studio is way more interesting to me than what ends up on the TV screens or even on the majority of the stages across the country. And in Los Angeles, there's so many stages, but there's still very few people of color getting on those stages. And I'm way more interested in the stories about the people who actually live here in this city and in the state and in Santa Monica and all over California.
You do so much work with personal stories. Mm-hmm. How do you get them?
There's a lot of different practices, and we've been developing our methodology right now. Actually, in kind of, I guess, 20 years or so, we've decided to really use this time to think about our methodology. We're shifting from doing a lot of solo work to doing more ensemble-based work, and we're really talking about how do we collect those stories. And there's different processes. Sometimes an artist will do a lot of interviews. We like to do also ensemble-based process where we collect stories through workshops, through story circles, through research. And then we are playing together in a rehearsal space to mine those stories through theater games and then keep working on them until they become scenes and plays that we can put on stage.
So the inhabitants, the residents of Santa Monica could actually, anyone in Santa Monica could be heard in your work.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, and this year we're actually focusing on much more around occupations. So actually the piece that we're going to present is from a work that we started developing at the Miles Theater earlier this year called Delicious Reality. And it's based on the stories of restaurant workers. There's lots of restaurants in Santa Monica, and we partnered with an organization called Restaurant Opportunity Center, Los Angeles, and they do a lot of organizing around restaurant worker rights. So with their partnership, we've been collecting stories through their members to kind of tell the story that you might not hear about restaurant workers. And one of the first things that I learned is that in a restaurant, just like in a theater, there's front of the house and there's back of the house.
Sure.
So from that point on, we've just been looking at those alignments and looking at those stories. And there's a lot of crossover in the experience of being a theater worker and also being a restaurant worker.
How big is the cast?
The cast, I forgot the numbers, but the cast we brought today is 6 people. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we're missing like maybe 1 or 2 people And Corky Dominguez was the director there as well, and he helped us use this devised theater process
We know Corky.
Yeah, we love Corky.
Yeah, Corky's awesome.
Corky's great, and so he helped us do the devised theater process to gather the stories and put them on stage. And this year we actually got an amazing grant through the Irvine Foundation to continue working with Rock LA and the restaurant workers. So now we're looking at doing site-specific performances around Santa Monica and Los Angeles, and doing performances where we think that even more people can come and see it and interact with the work that we're doing.
That's wonderful. You also receive support from the City of Santa Monica, from the Arts Commission.
Yes, City of Santa Monica has been one of our first funders.
How does that help your organization specifically?
It's tremendous. You know, it's not easy to be an arts organization in Santa Monica. You know, when you're a small organization, a lot of people work out of their homes. So if your ensemble or your company doesn't happen to live in Santa Monica and be able to work out of your home, that could keep your organization out of the running for grants in Santa Monica. We've actually been able to keep a business residence in Santa Monica from the beginning. We were once at the 18th Street Arts Complex in the early days, and now we have our own office in Santa Monica through our board, and so we're able to maintain residency in Santa Monica. And I've lost count of how many years we've been in Santa Monica, but it's helped us. 1,000. Well, less than 20.
Okay.
And so it helps us be in Santa Monica. It also helps us continue to do our work. It's without that funding, we couldn't do this kind of work because the commercial value in this work, you know, isn't there. So
why is that? Why do you think that's the case?
Why isn't the commercial value there?
Why do you feel it's not?
I think it's part of it is we deal with issues. We're not really interested in just doing entertainment for fun.
There's substance
There's substance to our work. There's always some social justice or political content to it. We like to ask our audiences to question and to think, you know.
So you think the mainstream isn't interested in the evolution of the art form?
Or maybe it's that we need to educate them, and I think that's what you're doing. Your work is enticing them slowly, and it is a slow process.
And we're working with people and communities that you don't usually see on the screen or on the stage.
Right.
And I think if you're someone who's got a big pocketbook, you're not willing to take a risk on an experiment like that.
Yeah.
And it's a big experiment to see if, I mean, we have a project called Refugee Nation, which is about the Laotian community. Yeah. And I mean, even small theaters are hesitant to book that show because they don't know how to reach out to the community that is the Southeast Asian community or the Laotian community. But when people see the show, they see this is a refugee experience. It relates to the Holocaust. It relates to Japanese internment. It relates to what's going on right now in Burma and with Nepalese. So you have to see these stories, and as long as they're based in truth, there's a universality out there.
And you being here with us is going to bring them in to see those shows. I know. Leilani, thank you for all that you bring to the artistic community here and all over the country.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. We've talked about Tia Da, but now we're going to see them in action. We'll be right back with a special performance.
Welcome to our home away from home.
Action!
When I came here, I discovered I could write.
I found the confidence to share my poetry, and now they're songs.
I got away from the trouble in my neighborhood.
Come check us out.
At the Pico Youth and Family Center.
Join us.
Or volunteer. Together, we can change our world.
That's a wrap.
Performing D.R. Ditty from Delicious Reality, please welcome Sophia Barrett Ibarria, Kimiko Broder, Cayetano Juarez, Cristina Sanchez, Ova Saupang, and Amy Shu.
Yeah, let's do it.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Dee-a-dee-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-doo. Dee-a-dee-dee-dee-dee-dum-dee-dee-doo. Spicy reality, sour reality, sweet reality, reality bites. Bust the table,
Clear the table,
set the table, huh?
6 top, 4 top,
2 top, hop. welcome. How are you? How many in your party? Party, 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 party with you. Outside, inside, seat you at the bar. Start with a cocktail, wine, soda, iced tea. Over fire, on ice, double shot, his tap. Check your change, check your bill, check your fly, check please.
Chef special board, special of the day. On the house, on the top, on the side, on the fly, bar back barista.
Bartender, bam.
Coming through behind you, hot, sharp.
Whoa! D-R-did-it-dum-did-it-do. D-R-did-it-dum-did-it-do. Service with a smile at your service. I'm your server and you got served.
Prep cooks, line cooks, order in,
Order out.
Work the line, on the line, hot line,
Cold line.
Fry, bake,
Grill, saute.
in the weeds, in the
We are Slam! 86 the fish, 86 the veal, 86 your mama and your next Happy Meal. Clean skills, knife skills, sauce skills, fast. Don't cut yourself and you will last.
Out of the frying pan into the fire. Drink some water or you'll expire.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Board and ticket, expediter cost.
Oh, yeah.
Medium rare, pink, black, and blue.
Cook it, plate it, get it out well. Dishwasher station is a dish pit hell. Clean the dishes, wipe the spills, mop the floor, por favor, mi amor. D-R-did-it-dum-did-it-do. D-R-did-it-dum-did-it-do. Clocking in, punching out, take a piss, peace out.
Experience Highways Performance Space and Gallery.
I knew my journey would lead me to a place
where I'd find a highway that I could travel to the beat of my own drum. Right out the storm, 95 Joey died, but Deadly was born. And there would be no limits to the vibrancy of my performance.
Join us each week at Highways Performance Space and Gallery and live without limits. Log on to highwaysperformance.org.
They are the oldest stage performing organization in Santa Monica. I'm excited to find out more about Morgan Wixson Theater, and I have the man here to give me all the deets. Tom Lasky, welcome to Santa Monica On Stage.
Thank you very much, Joshua and Evelyn.
So, you guys been around since 1946? What makes this company so special?
Even I've been around since 46.
I don't believe that.
Okay. Yeah, I came to Santa Monica as a young chorus boy.
Wow.
And joined the Santa Monica Theater Guild actually in 1955. Now, at that time, the community theater was a real community theater because there were very few theaters around Los Angeles, as Evelyn knows. And we were performing in a old barn, a one-story barn that belonged to the city of Santa Monica on the corner of 5th and Ocean Avenue.
Wow.
5th and Ocean Park, rather. And that building burned down in '63, and the theater was being quite successful, built their own theater, architect designed for the Santa Monica Theater Guild, which runs the Morgan Wixson Theater.
Sounds fantastic.
So when you started there, did you start as an actor?
Yes, that's what I started.
Do you remember the first play that you did?
Judgment Day.
Oh.
Wow.
I came here to be an engineer, and I worked at Northrop most of my life, but acting is my avocation, glad to say.
Well, you have what they would call a sonorous voice, beautiful, beautiful theater voice.
Thank you, everyone.
And you were recently in the Our Town production there, weren't you?
That's right. We just finished, actually, yesterday, the production of Our Town, which is a production of a classic American play, as you know. And most theaters are not looking to do the classic American plays anymore. They want the newest things. And we've got the newest things in our upcoming season, if you would like to know what they are.
I would. We would.
Well, we're going to do, in January, The Odd Couple, only it's the Odd Couple female version.
That's awesome!
Which Neil Simon wrote, and he changed the guys that come over for the poker game are now women that come over to play, what the heck is it? Some other type of game. And other than that, it's the same story, all the good jokes. Then we're going to follow that up with a thing that's become very popular, won awards on Broadway, and that's Spring Awakening, the musical.
Fantastic.
That's our spring musical. And then we're going to do a Steve Martin play called The Underpants, and it's a classic farce which he adapted himself. And then finally, for our next big musical next summer, we'll do The Producers.
That's wonderful. The Morgan Wixson also has what I understand is an extensive education and outreach program, the YES, or YES?
Yes, YES, Youth Education on Stage. And that program started, I'm not sure, 10, 12 years ago, has become a very big program. They produce 5 shows a year. Then the shows play in the afternoon. There's shows written, adapted from children's books, and they also often play for schools that bring their class over to the theater during the week.
Awesome.
Other than that, they put on their plays on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. And then once a year, that group produces a teen musical. So you have to be a little older to be in the musical, and that's generally like what the heck, Princess and the Pea.
Okay.
Right now, Beauty and the Beast. Big productions, big expensive productions, and lots of singing and dancing. Everybody loves it.
Have any celebrities, like famous theater folk, blessed your stage?
I would like to tell you that back when I was a chorus boy, back on Ocean Park and Fifth, we did a production of Hamlet. Harvey Korman played Hamlet.
And how was Harvey?
He was good.
Yeah?
He was a
was
good
he
actor.
good or was he amazing?
He was very good.
Okay.
And we had people like Charles Lawton and Betty Davis came to see the
Wow.
shows. I was in the lobby one time when Charles Lawton said to the young lady that played Ophelia, "Be very careful, you're not going to last if you throw yourself around like that."
What do you think he meant by that?
Well, he was just giving her some good advice, some good British advice, I guess.
You know, especially because we are for Santa Monica, I know you have a volunteer organization, and I'm sure that the residents of Santa Monica would probably be very interested in participating. You were in charge of this for a while, weren't you?
I always hope so. This is a very busy city, Los Angeles and Santa Monica and surrounding area. And so it's not easy to get people away from other things they do because there's so much to do these days.
It really is.
But we have been very lucky to get volunteers, and the Youth Education on Stage program helps bring them in because the youth plus their parents come to see your theater. Now, our theater is the only theater of its size for community in this area.
How big is it?
We have 200 seats.
Wow.
And the stage area is just as big as the auditorium area, just as big as the audience area.
Amazing.
So it's a great theater, and many people want to come over and rent it for different things because it's really a good stage. And most theaters since those days of 1955 and so forth that have come about, as Evelyn certainly knows, are in small spaces. It's all you can do. And there's like 400 or 500 theaters in this big area. Every week you could go to see something, but mostly they're 45 or 99 seat theaters.
Wow. I look forward to stopping by your theater at some point. And seeing
I
one of the
certainly
shows.
hope you will. And if you'll come by and be a volunteer usher, you can see the show for nothing.
Then that's what I'm doing because I've got no money. All right. I think
We are thanking Tom.
Yeah, we're out of
We
time.
are thanking Tom for being here today.
Oh,
Thanks,
thank you
Tom.
so much.
Awesome.
Thank
Hanging
you.
out with us today. We aren't quite done yet. Stick around because Tom brought along some of his castmates from our town. Be right back.
Hey, slow down!
Right next to the library on 7th Street is the Santa Monica History Museum, where history comes to life for the entire family. Enjoy the exhibits, main gallery, the photo archive, research gallery, and much more. Come visit the Santa Monica History Museum, keeping history alive.
Performing Thornton Wilder's Our Town, please welcome Annette Romano and Dick Hurlin.
Well, Ma, day has come. You're losing one of your chicks.
Don't you say another word, Frank Gibbs. I feel like crying every minute. Just sit down and drink your coffee.
Well, the groom is upstairs shaving himself, only there ain't an awful lot to shave. He's smiling and whistling as if he'd be glad to leave us. Every now and then, he looks in the mirror and he says, I do. Only it don't sound too convincing to me.
I declare, Frank, I don't know how they'll get along. Well, I've arranged his clothes and seen to it that he's put warm things on. Frank, they're just too young. Emily won't think of such things. He'll catch his death of cold within a week.
You know, I was remembering my wedding morning, Julia.
Oh, don't start that, Frank Gibbs.
Oh, I was the scaredest young fella in the state of New Hampshire. I thought I'd made a mistake for sure. And then I saw you coming down that aisle, and I thought you were the prettiest girl I'd ever seen. And the trouble was, I'd never seen you before. There I was in the Congregational Church, marrying a total stranger.
And how do you think I felt? Frank, weddings are perfectly awful things, farces. That's what they are. Here, I made something for you.
Why, Julia Hersey, it's French toast.
Oh, tain't hard to make, and I had to do something.
Yeah, how did you sleep last night, Julia?
Well, I heard a lot of the hours struck off.
Oh, yeah. I get a shock every time I think about George heading out to be a family man. That great gangling thing. I swear, Julia, there is nothing so terrifying in this world as a son. The relation of a father and a son is the darndest, awkwardest.
Well, mother and daughter's no picnic, let me tell you.
Well, they'll have a lot of troubles, I suppose. It's none of our business. Everybody has a right to their own troubles.
Yes. People are meant to go through life 2 by 2. Tain't natural to be lonesome.
You know, one of the things that scared me when I married you, Julia.
Oh, go along with you, Frank Gibbs.
I was afraid that we would not have enough material for conversation to last 2 weeks. That I was afraid we would just run out and sit and eat our meals in silence. That's a fact. But you and I, we've been conversing for 20 years now without any noticeable barren spells.
Good weather, bad weather, tain't very choice, but I always find something to say.
Yeah.
You heard Rebecca stirring around up there.
No, only morning of the year that she hasn't been running everybody's business up there. She's hiding in her room. I get the impression she is crying.
Lord's sakes, this has got to stop. Rebecca? Rebecca, come get your breakfast.
I love those 2 performances.
They were
didn't you,
amazing. They
Joshua?
were great.
I love when somebody takes something that isn't a musical instrument and makes music, like you and your voice.
Like hearing my voice.
And the
'Cause
pots
it's not
and
musical at all.
pans
Yeah.
Or doing theater with nothing.
That was
like
amazing.
the
And it was in
pantomime.
our studio, which is great.
That is really, really awesome. Very, very entertaining,
Yeah.
both of those
Been a great show.
performances. Well, that's our show for today. Every week we're continuing our journey towards learning more about the arts groups that make Santa Monica's cultural world so rich.
We look forward to see you next time as we introduce you to more of our friends here at Santa Monica On Stage.